Greetings everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Aradia Arcanum, and I want to make this video to share some thoughts that I have had. And I'm coming to you in this way, one, because I wanted to share what it is that I was doing, and also this is just easier for me right now. You know, there's this transition that's happening on YouTube that I'll get into a bit later, you know, in the collective energies. However, so this video, I'm going to talk a bit about what the term dark means, or how my views on that word has shifted throughout my, you know, journey, my spiritual journey, and all of that. So right now I am doing a working to call down the sun, the solar energy. And at the time that I'm doing this, it's on a Sunday and it's during the planetary hour of the sun. And what I'm using here is, right, this is something simple, nothing elaborate, right? Sometimes I do work with the planetary pentacles, but that I'm not doing that right now. This is something simple that I felt called to do because I wanted to tune into solar energy. I wanted to tune into all the things that the archetype of the sun has to offer, because I like to have a balance, and I'll get into that in a second when we talk about dark, right? So here I have my yellow candle to represent the sun. I have some incense here, some sandalwood. For me, sandalwood is pretty universal in all the things that I work with. And so I just felt called to use sandalwood right now as incense. So I have my gold glitter. I have 2 honey calcite crystals. They remind me of the sun, the glow, the goldness. And here is the oil I created during a Sabbath, and it was calling in the Jupiter and the sun. So it smells so good. So a little bit about this oil, and I will put all of this in the description of this video. I created this with a base oil of the coconut oil. And that was my first time doing that. And I did that because the person that shared that information with me when we were creating these, I smelled one of her oils that she had for over a year. It smelled so fresh, smelled so good. So, you know, every oil has its metaphysical properties. So I wanted to give it a try because it felt refreshing. And so Jupiter and the sun, these are archetypes that are, for me, uplifting, expansive. So I felt that was pretty, you know, that was something that I could use for this oil, but it smells so good. I will try to remember all the ingredients that was used for this. And for full transparency, I am redoing this part of the video over because it was blurred. So you'll see me do this and then go into the other part of the video. And, you know, before I get into that really quickly, I watched Molly Roberts' video today, and she showed up saying she heard another witch say, where's all the witches, YouTube witches at? And I think there's this, and that's why she showed up, because she's been not, Molly Roberts, the art witch, she has not showed up as much on YouTube. So that kind of, you know, that sparked her to make her YouTube video. So it kind of did the same thing for me, because I also wanted to share the conversation and just show up. And, you know, it's not that I don't want to make YouTube videos. There's this transition that's happening right now. There's so much artificial, you know, superficial things out there that you get tired of seeing the same thing. And I don't want people watching my video and like, oh, I'm tired of this and, clicking, even though they may do the same thing for this. However, my point is, that was, I felt that, and I wanted to show up and share some things with you. So back to dark. The biggest point of me bringing this up is because when, it's a lot of people are either extremists towards the left path of things, the left-hand path, LHP side of things, or extremely to the right-hand path, right? So both is when you are too much of one thing is no good. So there always should be a balance, right? Because you could be so far to the right talking about, I saw this angelic being, and what makes you think it's an angelic being? Because it showed up with this light. There's tricksters out there. And if you aren't aligned and balanced and in knowing your frequency, right, and understanding yourself and working with your higher self, you can be tricked easily, right? Tricksters show up in the way that they want you to see them because they know this is the particular thing that you were calling forth. So maybe a trickster, wants to get your attention and they show up in that way. And the same thing for the left when you're summoning a demon, and there's some angels out there that look terrifying, that are, invokes this fear. So if you can be tricked, right? I don't care how much you think you are this expert or how advanced you think you are. If you aren't aligned, you can be fooled. So balance is important. And when we talk about dark, I know some people, and I hope I'm not jumping around. It's just that I feel like these two things kind of go together, right? To have the balance and then understand dark. So when we talk about dark, when someone says to me, oh, I want to go darker, I want to learn darker things, 9 times out of 10, what they are wanting is, and I know this because it happens, they are wanting deeper magic, going deeper. And that might, 9 times out of 10, that usually entails deeper rituals, right? Because a lot of what is learned in the beginning is more folk magic practices, right? A lot of people do candle magic. As a beginner, you learn the light and fluffy things. So when someone says they want the darker things, a lot of times they mean they want this ritual that is going to evoke power, call forth your soul, that type of ritual. A lot of times that's what people are looking for. And when they get that, they feel fulfilled. And it's not necessarily that they are looking to go into the underworld. Some of them are, but it doesn't. Dark takes on so many meanings. And then based on your perspective, right, you have to look at all of that. So dark, my point in saying this is, one, be aware of that. You need balance. We all need balance. And if you are out of balance, you can be tricked very easily. Being in balance means being attuned into the frequency around you, your frequency, your higher self, always tuning in to that collective flow, tuning in to who you are, being aware that not everything that glitters is gold, right? Just being aware, having this awareness and checking in with yourself. And yes, you have to have structure as far as, yes, you have to meditate. If you don't want to meditate and you say to yourself, oh, I don't feel like meditating. Well, guess what? That thing you wanted to manifest, maybe spirit is like, well, oh, I don't feel like giving it to you right now. So you got to think about that. Speaking to myself as well. So that is one of the things that, not one, but that is the main thing that I want to share here, and share this magic that I'm doing to call forth the light, right? Because like I said, I am a lover of chthonic things, a lover of the dark, sitting in the dark. My husband often has to come and turn on a light. It's like, it's too dark in here. I'm like, I like it like that. So, let's get into it, because it's pretty difficult for me to multitask. So let's get into, I want to dress this candle with this oil and the glitter here. This smells so, so good. So this is bringing in a power of Jupiter as well. Okay. So I am going to light this and then speak an incantation to call forth the power of the sun while we are in this planetary hour. I call forth the solar fire, ancient eye above the abyss, crown of flame, burning heart of the heavens, descend into the darkness of my mind. Illuminate what hides beneath the veil, expose the unseen, burn away deception. O solar flame, awaken the fire within my blood, sharpen my sight, strengthen my will, ignite the furnace of my creation. Let inspiration rise from the deep. Let vision become knowing. Let knowing become will. And let my will become manifest. I am the vessel. I am the flame. Sol aeternus, ignis flamma, fiat lux. By the eternal fire concealed within the dark, illuminate me, awaken me. So mote it be. So, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Really know, right, trickster, right? Really be aware of your balanced, way of practice and how you can attain the balance in your practice, right? Because we all practice differently. So you want to make sure that you are, there's a balance of dark light, right? That's why I used to be called the Witch of Dark Light. My goal is dark light. My goal is balance. My goal is always to make sure I am achieving balance. When I see myself going too far to the dark, because I love dark things. I love all dark things. I love the underworld. I love chthonic spirits. I love, working with some demons. So I have to check myself to make sure that there's a balance of this solar energy. Hence me doing this here. So, and that also I'm waiting for a book to come, and the book is called, oh my gosh, I have my phone right here. The book is called The People of the Sun. Yeah, I didn't want to misread this. So this is The Root of the Archons of Ghana. And this is talking about a matriarchal culture, spiritual culture, where these were solar deities in spirit. So I don't know. I didn't get the book yet, so I haven't really researched it. But that came about because I had a conversation about, right, because when we look at solar, it's connected to the masculine, right? So I wanted to do research to work with solar divine feminine, right, with the solar energy. And I started with Sapsu Alame. She's a Canaanite spirit, and she's associated with the sun as well as the dark. So she's she's associated with being like the crossroads and being able to traverse both. And I'm not going to get into her. Maybe that's another video. Sapsulame. I purchased her book off of Miskatonic books online. So you could check that out, Sapsulame, and it's a reference to her being the Canaanite Hecate. But that was the start to my research, working with different feminine archetypes that are in alignment with the sun and solar energy. So occasionally, maybe you want to do some candle magic like this, right? If we're talking about how to stay in the balance and you feel like you're too much into the dark, maybe you want to do candle magic like this to call in the sun. And if you feel that you are too much into the light, right? Because you are aware of, maybe I need some balance in my life. If you feel like you're too much into the light, then maybe do a bit of dark magic. Pull out that black candle. Maybe work with Saturn. Maybe work with a darker energy, right? A Pluto. This transformative energy, right? This energy of death and rebirth, right? So you this cycle. So you want to be tuned in so you're flowing with the cycles of life. So right now, at the time that I'm recording this, so excited that we are about to go into fall in a few weeks. I am not a summer person. I am fall and spring, fall, and some of winter. But this is the time where we think about, the death, right? Because we go into October and we go into the Day of the Dead around that time, the liminal spaces, the thinning of the veil. So these are dark, and we're going into the dark. How do you work with that? How do you exist within that time, right? So maybe so you can be in balance, right? So when those cycles happen, you know how to work through them, because maybe you're somebody that likes summer and that's about to end and you don't really like the darker season. So but it's happening whether you like it or not. So instead of fighting against it, find how you can navigate it, right? And if you do some intentional magic that aligns your frequencies with that cycle. So for me, I need a bit of sun. The sun card is always popping out like, hey, remember me? Get your ass outside, get some sun. So, and then I looked around as I was preparing this. I looked around my home because I got a lot of witchy stuff. But it came to my awareness, like as I'm looking around, I don't really have any representation of the sun. Right? I have representations of the moon, pentacles, all different types of things, but I don't have a representation of the solar energy. So I got to work on that. So and the reason why I have to work on that, right? Because you don't have to do anything, but I want to, as I mentioned, right? Be in balance, right? The only thing that I have here are the crystals that I feel align with solar energy. So this honey calcite, the reason why it's here is one, to call forth that frequency, but also when this is over, because I did this on a Sunday during the hour of the sun, the planetary hour of the sun, this is imbued with that energy. So I will carry this on my altar, or maybe I carry it with me, but put it on my altar as a representation of drawing down that sun. So that's why this is here. But yeah, so that is all for today. That is all for this video. I may do some more videos like this because this takes off the pressure of getting ready for the camera. Like I feel like, yeah, it takes the pressure off. And so that is all I wanted to share with you. And if you want to do this, I will leave the incantation and everything that I used, including the ingredients for this oil. Really, if you haven't not tried out the coconut oil as a base, I'm telling you, give it a shot, because it does something for the oil. It definitely does something for the longevity of the oil. If you're leaving your stuff in the oil, I don't do that to my oil that I create. I leave it in there for a little while, let it be infused, and then I remove a lot of this stuff, especially if it's a large batch of oil. So, if you want to find me and hang out with me, come on over to school. We got a lot of fun things happening over there. We are about to go through creating, as a witch, creating what your foundational spells are. So I'm starting with 7, and what your foundational spells, go-to spells are, right? Because you have a foundational go-to, you begin to build confidence. It becomes more powerful. And so that's your, in your arsenal of magic, right? So you have your go-to, like you have your go-to banishing workings, you have your go-to protection workings. So we'll be starting that over there. But do come over and check it out. That is the Practical Magic School, over on the school platform. So until the next video, I love you all, and into the shadows.